Well, continuing on with the conversations I've had. About 5 years after I left Satanism and I was really getting into Kabbalah, and I had reached some sort of atonement with God, who I called Jehovah at the time. It's probably still do to an extent. I'll explain that later on in another clip. I was visited by Satan, and I remember this because it was about, I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed and everything just turned ice cold. I mean, painfully cold. I was under blankets, doonas, and the coldness just seemed to come through everything. And I was, trying to breathe, and it was very uncomfortable. And I sat up in bed. I was breathing out. It was just like mist coming out of my mouth. It was like an industrial freezer. That's how cold it was. And then I saw him. What does he look like? Sort of like a silhouette. Seems very like a cardboard cutout type sort of body to him, if you want to say that. And I could only see part of his face because there was basically no light, because I didn't have the lights on or any lights on in the house I was living in. And the thing that got me is that he wore a white crown. And I was trying to figure out what's this about. See, I didn't know about the Tree of Death or Fomio, which he's a joint ruler of. And I was petrified, I said, Satan, I didn't call you. And that's when he told me, my title is Adam Satan, and it's your doubt that called me. And did I have doubts about the magic I was doing? No. Did I have doubts about where my life was going? Yeah. And I was just praying to Jehovah, oh, Joe, come here now, I need help. And he's just very cool, calm, collected. And I said to him, look, I didn't call you, go, And he just sort of like casually stared at me, then eventually he left. And I sat up for about 45 minutes, I was petrified. And then the coldness disappeared. I could breathe properly again. And I was wondering if I had a dream or something, was I dreaming all this up? But reflecting back on it the next morning when I got up, I heard cars driving past, birds, possums, doing their nighttime thing. And the people I was living with said, who were you talking to last night? Then I realised that what happened last night actually happened. I was trying to figure out why he would approach me. Why did he do this now that I was starting to get my Kabbalah on, so to speak? Why didn't he approach me when I was an actual Satanist? Don't know. I haven't seen him since. Yeah. Still sticking on the satanic realm. The Ouija board. People say, oh no, it's just a joke, it's a gimmick, blah blah blah. It depends what sort of Ouija board you have and what what sort of Ouija board you have and what symbols you use in it. See, that makes all the difference. I used to make my own Ouija boards, and there was like a centerpiece, and the centerpiece was where you put the sigils. Now, if you don't know what sigils are signatures and symbols. They're the one and the same. So with the sigils, you could put them for various demons, usually they're sub-princes. And what happened was that one of the servants of the sub-prince would come up and answer your questions. So, and through this I found out about planetary hours, astrological hours, because they could only stay and answer my questions for a certain period of time. And some of them, depending on, the sub-princes are all, to a certain level. But some of the demons you get now, some of them are very polite, some of them are very, the sort of people, if they were people, you would be hanging around them. Yet some of them were just like louts, obnoxious, but by and large they were polite and would answer serious questions you might have. So, yeah. If you want me to about anyone else that showed up, if you know voodoo, you know Marinette, Cheche. I'm not too sure if the French and the Haitians pronounce her name the same way. I call her Marinette Noir, because that's the closest I can come to pronouncing French. Marinette, she's a Loire, and she is quite evil. Oh yeah. I met her on about 3 occasions, but they were 3 successive days. The situation I had was my mother was in a coma and things weren't looking good. So I was getting ready to do a Kabbalah ritual, but I wasn't really too sure because time was on the essence. Anyway, she appeared one night. I wasn't asleep, I was just sitting on my bed, and she proceeded to make me an offer. She said, if you do this ritual I offer you, then you can save your mother. And I was speaking to her and I said, oh, what's this involved? She said, well, it requires a human sacrifice. And she proceeded to tell me that the sacrifice must be performed facing east, and which threw me because it's satanic sorcery. The rituals were performed facing west because east has always been deemed to be the direction of God, because the sun rises from the east. And she said, one thing I've never forgotten, she said, order cannot be opposed. So if you're facing west while performing satanic sorcery rituals, you're actually doing a symbolic gesture by facing west, but order cannot be opposed. So in reality you should be facing east. Anyway, I was kind of taken back by it, and I thought about it. And she said, what you have to do is kill a person in a certain way, and you get what you want, and I get what I want. But I was like, I didn't know what to do. And so she came one night, she came back the next night, and didn't really say much, just like waited for me to give an answer. And the third night she came back, because I was thinking, you know, Jehovah can see us, you know, so I can't pull a fast one on him. And I said to her, you know, we shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be coming to see me. And I said, I want you to go, and I want you to never come back. And she left. And that's the last I've ever seen of it. But when you look at it, you know, the lessons or the tips you get from demons are actually quite interesting. And in fact, things that no one else would have told me. So, do I encourage you to get demons and ask them questions? No. But I can't say they're all bullshitters either. Some are, well, they don't deceive you. They allow you to deceive yourself. If you were to ask a question and say, oh, is the answer this? And one of them was to put a fast one, and you say, well, you know, if that's what you think, well, that's what you think. That's how you would put it. So they haven't given you an answer, they've just got you to agree to an answer you've already considered before you've asked them. Yeah.